The day I received the formal notice about my wife's critical illness, I was completely surrounded by her sisters. They had cornered me in the living room, their faces a mixture of grief and aggressive expectation. They were pushing me, really leaning on me, to agree to an idea that sounded like a fever dream, letting my wife, Clara, have a wedding ceremony with another man. "Mark, all Clara wants is to have a wedding with Leo," one of them said, her voice strained. "She's on her deathbed. Can't you just fulfill this one wish?" Another chimed in immediately. "Don't be so selfish. She only has about 2 months left." They took turns, building a case against my hesitation. "Remember how she saved you? She broke her ribs for you, lost a kidney. Without her, the Harrison family would have gone bankrupt years ago." The pressure was immense. "You love her so deeply, yet you're not willing to grant her this? It's just a ceremony," the first one insisted. "She's not divorcing you. We just can't stand seeing you refuse." They painted me as the villain for not allowing my own wife to marry someone else. My throat felt tight. I looked past them, trying to catch Clara's eye, hoping she would put a stop to this. "Clara, what do you think?" My fingers were twitching. She was sitting with her legs crossed, her beautiful features clouded with a look of disappointment and regret. "I abandoned Leo to marry you," she replied, her voice flat. "Even if you agree to this now, he wouldn't agree." My last bit of hope faded. This was all orchestrated by her. She wasn't going to help me. Clara wanted to leave with the man she considered her true love, but she couldn't bear being seen as the heartless one. So she and her family concocted this entire fake illness scheme. If I hadn't accidentally stumbled upon the truth, finding the chat logs between her and her sisters, I would have believed it all. I would have been the grieving fool to the very end. I thought she was genuinely dying. I had spent weeks tirelessly researching experimental treatments online, interviewing specialists, and seeking miracle cures, no matter the cost. I even visited temples across the nation, praying for her safety. It was all a performance, a complete charade. How absurd. Since she was so determined to marry Leo, I decided I would let her. From the moment I uncovered the truth, I knew I wouldn't love her anymore. More than that, I would take back what was mine. "Fine," I said, forcing a smile, though my face felt pale. "I agree." Hearing this, everyone in the room looked overjoyed, especially Clara. Her eyes gleamed with a light I hadn't seen in a long time. "But I have a condition," I added. Clara glanced over, her brow frowning slightly. "What is it?" "I want the shares of the MS group that are in your name." "Deal," one of her sisters said immediately, speaking on Clara's behalf. "For her happiness, we'll get you whatever you want. Just get Leo to marry Clara willingly." And kept my eyes on Clara. Only her word mattered. "Clara, say yes," her sisters urged. After a brief thought, she nodded. "Okay. I'll convince him to spend these last days with you," I resolved. Clara had once promised Leo she would help him complete a bucket list, but marrying me had broken his heart, leaving many things undone. Now those tasks were passed to me. First, I had to deliver 10 limited edition Patek Philippe watches to Leo. Second, I had to paint 100 portraits of him. Third, I had to kneel on the 3,000 steps at a temple and pray for his safety. Lastly, I had to apologize to him. Leo was the son of the Harrison family's male housekeeper, filled with ambition from a young age. After failing to seduce my sister, he had wooed my fiancée, Clara. My father eventually kicked Leo out of the Harrison home. Now Leo demanded that I publicly kneel and apologize on the Harrison family's behalf. Without hesitation, I dropped to the ground with a thud. Looking up at him, I said, "Leo, I'm sorry. Everything in the past was the Harrison family's fault. Please forgive me and spend these last days with Clara." "Is that it? So insincere," Leo said, spreading his hands. "Your love for Clara is nothing." "What do you want?" I asked. "Have you forgotten how I was kicked out of the Harrison home?" Leo leaned in menacingly, hiding a deep bitterness behind his handsome facade. I trembled slightly, frowning back at him. My gaze inadvertently caught Clara standing behind Leo, her eyes burning with an evident love for him. I lowered my head again, feeling a fresh pang of pain. I just had to endure a little more. It would all be over soon. I raised my head once more, slapping myself hard across the face and shouting, "I'm sorry, I'm despicable, I'm a piece of shit!" The crowd around us gasped. Someone started recording on their phone, the flash blinding me. I bit my lip, holding back tears. "Mark," Leo said, his voice ringing with false indignation. "If you hadn't coerced Clara into marrying you, we would have been together long ago. You ruined Clara, made her so troubled she got cancer. Why wasn't it you?" He twisted the truth with righteous indignation, tears flowing down his face. "I'm begging you," I gritted out. "Stay with her through the end." "I'll do it, because you're begging me," Leo said. The crowd, whipped into a frenzy, began to curse me. "What a scumbag! He deserves to die. Slapping yourself? What's the use? Bow and apologize. I hate people who bully others like this. He should just end it all." Someone threw a water bottle hard at my forehead. I fell over. This was followed by more bottles and stones hitting me, leaving me battered and bloody. My heart ached fiercely. Tears mixed with blood entering my mouth, tasting bitter and metallic. Clara and I grew up together. She once risked her life for me, making me believe it was love. From then on, I followed her, my heart and mind filled with her. To marry Clara, I turned down a critical alliance with the Vance family, making my father so angry he ended up in the hospital. I even offered my shares in the MS group to her as a stepping stone to fight for the Sinclair family's inheritance. Clara never said she didn't want to marry me. I always thought Leo was the one pursuing her. I never knew how much they truly loved each other. The signs were always there. Clara's coldness, the way she brushed me off, her regular trips abroad, the fact she wouldn't let me into her study. I was just too dumb to see it. Who knows how long it was before they stopped, until I was just numb with pain. I tried to get up. I saw Leo holding Clara, and I watched as he raised an eyebrow at me, triumphantly. "Idiot," Leo mocked. A small smile appeared on Clara's pale face. "Clara, let's go." "I'm hungry," Leo said. "Sure." He wrapped his arm around Clara, and they left. She didn't glance back at me even once. I watched her silhouette get further away, feeling like the hurt wasn't so bad anymore. Now I just had to wait for her to die in a month, take what was mine, and fulfill my father's wish to ally with the Vance family. I staggered to my feet, but everything went black, and I collapsed to the ground. I woke up in the hospital. A nurse struggled to find a vein, trying 7 or 8 times before succeeding. A few people at the door peeked in, pointing at me. "That's him, the wicked man who bullies people with his wealth. He's the one who drove Clara's grandmother to her death. Forcing Clara to marry him. What a shameless guy. If he dies, he deserves it. No need to save him." I heard them. I looked at my swollen hand from the IV and guessed what had happened. I let out a bitter smile. I checked my phone and saw the push notifications. Leo had posted online, condemning me and exposing my wrongdoings, pinning me as a vile young master. I tried to have the post deleted, but nobody dared. Someone hinted that Clara herself had ordered no one to remove it. I read the comments, filled with curses and accusations, feeling cold inside. I turned off my phone. Just then, my phone rang. It was Leo. He demanded I bring him clothes at the mountaintop observatory. My first instinct was to refuse, but I heard him mockingly remind me, "Mark, don't forget you need me to take care of a dying Clara. You have to make me happy." Gritting my teeth, I forced myself out of the hospital bed. "I've got it." Following his request, I went to the mall, bought the latest jacket from a brand he liked, and took a cab to the observatory. This place had been built for Leo's 20th birthday. It wasn't open to the public. I had wanted to see it before, but Clara always came up with excuses. Now, standing at the entrance, I felt nothing. I stepped in calmly and saw them. Leo and Clara, nestled together under the artificial starlight. "It's great I can still be with you, Clara. Don't we need to delete those online posts? It was just... He took you for so many years. I was just venting, not meaning to hurt him." "Whatever makes you happy," Clara smiled gently. "He'll endure anything for me." "He's so good to you. Do you really not love him?" Leo asked, feigning seriousness. "I love you." Leo pulled her into a deep kiss, and the air around them seemed to heat up. Clara let out a soft sound, scratching at his back, making him shiver as he seated her on his lap. He adjusted her on his knee, and that's when he looked up. A provocative gaze directed straight at me, standing in the shadows. He was doing this on purpose, making me watch him with Clara. My face felt pale, but I met his gaze. My nails dug into my palms. Despite my decision to stop loving her, the sight was still unbearable. It felt like a dull knife cutting into my chest, sending waves of pain through my body. Clara started to undo Leo's shirt, her lips pressing onto his collarbone. "Leo," she whispered, "don't mention him. It kills the mood. Just enjoy the pleasure I'm giving you. No idle talk." The handbag she was carrying hit the floor, and I fled. I nearly twisted my ankle as I stumbled out, my knee scratching on the rocks. Ignoring the pain, I scrambled up and ran until their sounds were no longer audible. I didn't stop running until I reached the road at the mountain's base, falling who knows how many times. My dress pants were stained with crimson by the time I returned home. Instead of tending to my wounds, I packed away everything related to Clara from the living room. There was no use keeping things from someone who was dying. I spent all night packing, filling 4 big boxes. At dawn, I had the servants carry them to the backyard. I tossed the first watch I'd ever designed for Clara into the incinerator. The flames rose with it. Piece by piece, I threw everything related to her into the fire. The last wedding photo vanished with the smoke. In the swirling smoke, I thought I saw the girl who had saved me when I was 15 vanish, too. The dark smoke stung my eyes until I couldn't keep them open. I choked, coughing until tears ran down my face. I felt more relaxed than ever, like a weight had been lifted off my chest. Everything I once treasured, I ended up burning so easily. It turns out letting go of someone who doesn't love you is easy. I turned and went back into my room. I took a hot bath, changed into pajamas, and fell into a deep sleep. I woke up in the evening and instinctively grabbed my phone. I opened the chat with Clara, fearing I had missed a message from her while I slept. Then I smirked at myself, realizing some bad habits take time to change. Clara never reached out to me first, not now, not before. I set the phone down, pulled on a jacket, and headed downstairs. After sleeping all day, I was hungry. As I entered the living room, the front door opened, and Clara walked in with Leo, who was holding her arm tightly. Clara carried shopping bags in both hands. At the sight of me, she frowned instinctively, the smile on her face gradually fading. I noticed the change, but remained motionless, glancing briefly at them before heading to the kitchen. "Seems like Mark doesn't welcome me," Leo said suddenly, displeased. "If that's the case, I'm leaving." Clara quickly grabbed hold of Leo as he turned to leave. She looked at me with some discontent. "Didn't you ask him to accompany me? Why were you acting all cold?" "I didn't," I replied. "Clara, this is your home. It's normal if he doesn't welcome me. Let me go." Leo put on a slightly hurt expression. "Apologize to Leo," Clara demanded, her tone firm. "I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I apologize?" I refused. "Whether you did or didn't, you upset Leo, so you need to apologize," Clara said, showing no attempt to hide her bias. I was taken aback, my fingers curling slightly as I met her increasingly cold gaze. A pang shot through my heart. I'd always thought Clara was just indifferent, not one to show favoritism like that. It turns out she'd only ever been partial to Leo all along. How did I ever think she loved me? I stayed quiet for a long time, while Clara's patience wore thin. "Don't you want the shares in MS Group?" I snapped out of my thoughts, took a deep breath to suppress the bitterness, and muttered, "Leo, I didn't mean to be unwelcoming. Please don't be upset. Come on in." Leo flashed a brief smirk before pouting again. "I'll forgive you this time. If it happens again, I'm leaving." Leo and Clara settled down on the couch, digging into their shopping bags and occasionally glancing at me. "I'm hungry. I want something Mark cooked," Leo said. "Have the maid do it." "He doesn't know how," Clara replied instinctively. "No, I want it," Leo whined, tossing aside the new clothes he'd bought. Clara was notably patient with him, gently reassuring him. "All right, we'll have him cook. What do you want?" "Seafood." Clara turned to me. "Prepare seafood. If you can't, have the maid teach you." I didn't respond, and headed into the kitchen. Clara and Leo chatted and laughed in the living room, seemingly planning their wedding attire and ceremony. I prepared 12 different seafood dishes, arranging them beautifully before asking a maid to call them. I sat in my usual spot, serving myself a bowl of soup. The bowl suddenly slipped from my hand as the hot soup splashed onto the back of my hand, leaving it red and scalded. "Leo, are you okay?" Clara's urgent voice sounded. "I'm fine. I didn't mean to bump into Mark," Leo feigned panic, but his eyes flashed with triumph. I glanced at my blistered hand, then at Clara's immediate concern for Leo, and smirked wryly. The distinction between love and indifference was all too clear. Thankfully, I didn't love her anymore. I silently tended to my burn. When I returned to the dining room, the table was a mess, with no food left for me. I had a cup of hot milk and went back to my room. Clara stayed with Leo in the villa, but late at night she returned to our room. I felt the bed dip as she wrapped her arms around me. I instinctively wriggled away, but Clara's low voice murmured in my ear, "You've gone through so much for me, to fulfill my dying wish." I stiffened, slowly opening my eyes, confused by her words. Was she feeling sorry for me? "Even if I marry Leo, you're still my only husband. No one can take your place. You'll still get what's yours." Her voice was increasingly gentle. "So, give your Nexus project to Leo. My estate can't go to him after I'm gone. He needs something to live on." My heart clenched sharply. Tears welled in my eyes. Clara wasn't feeling sorry for me, or grateful. She just wanted me to give Leo my creation. Nexus is a code I designed, with significant value in new energy development. It had been validated and could be patented and licensed at any time. Beyond immense wealth, it could offer me a high standing in my field. Clara knew how important this was to me. "Clara, I can't agree to that," I shook my head. I gently released her arm and sat up. That's my work, my creation. I'll never give it to someone else. Clara's eyes flickered. Her gaze inspected me, noticing a determination in my eyes that put her on edge. I seemed different somehow. Clara, I'm begging you, please don't take away my nexus, okay? My eyes were red, and my voice was pleading as I reached out to grab her arm. You can leave the inheritance to him. Give me the shares of MS Group. Something I said must have triggered her. She suddenly looked angry, coldly staring at me. Do you really not care about my money? I shook my head and opened my mouth to explain, but Clara had already pulled her arm away. I'm not negotiating with you. All your research was done with support from the Sinclairs. You have no right to refuse. She got up and left, slamming the door hard enough to break my heart. In less than half an hour, news about Nexus hit the internet. Leo, as the designer and developer, was interviewed via live stream by the media overnight. He announced that he would submit the patent papers first thing in the morning. Holding my phone, I rushed into Leo's room. Before I could say a word, Clara's bodyguards grabbed me. It's the design concept of Nexus. I'm sorry for disturbing your rest so late. I'm just too excited to share my results with you. Good night. Leo waved at the camera, a bright smile on his face, as if he was genuinely presenting his own work. Don't believe him, I shouted, only to be instantly silenced by the bodyguard. Until the interview ended, the guard finally let me go. Staggering, I confronted Clara, my eyes bloodshot. Clara, why? I told you I want to give Leo a leg up. Clara seemed somewhat guilty, looking away. I can compromise on anything, but not Nexus. I'll reclaim what's mine, I said, wiping away my tears and standing to leave. Clara watched me walk away, an odd feeling creeping in. She didn't want me to go. Clara, it's his design. He must have evidence. What if he exposes me tomorrow? I should have never agreed to that interview. I don't want to be criticized. Leo clung to Clara's arm, tears starting to fall. Clara refocused, frowning. She gently touched the top of Leo's head, then coldly instructed the bodyguards to take me to the basement. He's not to leave until I say so. Let me go. I'm not going to the basement. Don't touch me. Clara, Clara, I cried and struggled all the way. But she felt no sympathy. Locked in the dark basement, it felt like I was thrown into a pit of despair. When I was 5, I was kidnapped and kept crammed in a dark box for 3 days and nights. When the police found me, I was barely alive, suffering from severe PTSD. I feared being alone, the dark, and sleeping. My parents paused everything to support me through treatment. It took 5 whole years for me to recover. Now, in my heightened emotional state, I couldn't control my fear. The darkness around me felt like invisible hands, closing in, squeezing tightly. Let me out! Clara, I'm scared! I pounded hard on the basement door. Please let me out, I'm begging you! I'm really scared! I'm going to die! I clawed desperately at the iron door until my fingers bled, leaving bloody marks. My breaths became shallow, my head throbbed, and I started banging my head on the door until I passed out. The next morning, Clara, alongside Leo, dressed up for a launch event to introduce Nexus to the market with a high-stakes bidding process. Leo, as the developer of Nexus, was the center of attention. Holding my research notebook, he confidently handled questions from both reporters and experts, with Clara at his side. He went from unknown to a rising star in the new energy field overnight. The launch event quickly wrapped up, and Clara threw him a celebration party. Clara, at such a special moment, Mark should be here. Leo was eager to show off. Clara looked at him affectionately, agreeing to take him. She returned to the villa to fetch me, intending to let me know that everything was decided and stop me from causing trouble. The basement door opened, and a bloody scent hit her. Clara frowned deeply. In the dim light, I was curled in the corner, trembling, with my head buried in my arms. I slowly lifted my head at the light, looking through dried blood at Clara standing in the doorway. "Mark!" Clara was shocked. She never imagined I'd end up like this. "Clara, I don't want Nexus anymore. Please let me out. I'm scared." I got up and ran towards her. "I don't want it. I truly don't." Clara shuddered slightly, speechless, but she reached out and helped me out of the basement. As Leo called, urging Clara, she glanced at my frail form on the bed, torn for a moment. She finally gave in to Leo. "I'll be right there." She had someone tend to my wounds, dress me in clean attire, and cover the injury on my forehead with concealer. I didn't move throughout the process, but as they were leaving, I suddenly paused. "Could I get the shares of MS Group now?" I attempted to ask. "It's fine if not, just don't put me in the basement again." My body trembled slightly. Clara knitted her brows but surprisingly didn't refuse. She immediately had a lawyer prepare the electronic documents. While waiting, she inadvertently glanced around the sparsely furnished living room. "Did you throw stuff out?" I nodded, acknowledging the change. A brief silence followed. The lawyer sent the documents. Both Clara and I signed, activating the agreement instantly. I exhaled in relief. The banquet hall was lit up, buzzing with excitement. Guests toasted and praised Leo endlessly. He was on cloud 9, his smile never leaving his face. When he saw Clara and me walk in, he approached us with a grin. "Mark, you're here to congratulate me too?" Leo pretended to hug me, whispering menacingly, "See? Everything you had is now mine. You're no match for me." My expression was numb. I spoke in a flat tone. "Congrats, you won. Can you marry Clara now?" "Nope," Leo sneered. "You haven't satisfied me yet. What more do you need?" I locked eyes with him, showing a hint of hopelessness. Leo smirked, and with a bright grin, glanced around. "For you to be a rat, lose everything." I shivered, looking at him in horror. Leo shoved a sharp pin into my hand, forcing me to strike my own cheek. The pin sliced his cheek, and blood flowed out. "Mark!" Leo exclaimed. "Do you want me dead? Why are you pushing me so hard? I love Clara, but I never wanted to break you two apart. I just wanted to take care of her in her final days. If you're going to kill me, let me stay with her till the end. I'll give you Nexus. Give you all my money." Leo broke down, kneeling before me. The room fell to silence. All eyes were on us. Online gossip had painted me as the villain splitting up Clara and Leo. The room stared daggers, wishing me ill. I stood there, the bloody pin dropped from my hand. Clara grabbed my wrist coldly. "Mark, who gave you the right to hurt someone?" I winced, meeting her gaze, my face pale and weary. I suddenly felt too tired to explain myself. My broken nails bled, and my swollen palm couldn't hold a thing. Anyone could see I couldn't have cut Leo. "Take him to the police," Clara ordered in disappointment, shoving me away and helping Leo out the door. Clara's security team seized me, sending me to the lockup. There, I faced some menacing thugs who beat me mercilessly, forcing my head into a filthy pool, breaking my fingers one by one. Within an hour, I was near death. I thought maybe dying wouldn't be so bad. The MS Group shares were back in the right hands. Dying meant I could face my father. If only I'd listened, stayed away from Clara, married into the Vance family, things wouldn't have turned out like this. I thought I could last until it was over, in a daze. I imagined my white-haired mother. After my father's death, she handed the company to an assistant and went abroad alone. My mother hated me for stressing my father into illness, for not seeing him one last time. Tears blurred my vision. I was hallucinating. My mother would never forgive me. Closing my eyes, I waited for death. "Mark, I'm late." My mother's voice rang unexpectedly in my ears. I opened my eyes. "Mom," I spoke excitedly, trying to sit up, but I was too frail. "I'm sorry. Don't be scared. I'm here." My mother's tears flowed. "I'll take you home. Hold on a little longer." I collapsed, sobbing in her arms, passing out as we reached the car. My mother brought me back to the Harrison family home, fearing Clara might hurt me again. She had a professional medical team treat me at home. While I lay unconscious, indignant netizens and reporters surrounded the Harrison villa. Amidst this, Leo had gained massive sympathy, and learning I had attacked him, more came to seek revenge. My mother ordered security to remove them. They violently fought back, throwing rocks, breaking windows, crashing doors. "Mark, apologize to Leo." They stormed the residence. "No one touches my son," my mother yelled, standing guard at my bedside. "You're useless as a parent, too, hurting a key talent. You all deserve to die." Someone shoved her. Her fall was hard. As they moved to drag me off the bed, she quickly blocked them again. They'd lost all sense, pushing her down again, seizing an unconscious me. Leading the group, Clara arrived just in time. "Stop!" she called out. Her guards pushed forward, forcing the intruders out. My mother helped me back to bed, checking on me carefully. Clara glanced at my pale face, frowning. Just heading to the police and ending up like this. Could it be true, like Leo said? That I was acting all along, faking care, never intending to fulfill her wishes, hurting myself repeatedly to gain sympathy and tie her to me? Now, with my mother confronting her, if not for that, she'd never have been pulled from the hospital to sort out the Harrisons' mess. Her mind on Leo, alone in the hospital, her concern for me vanished. "I gave my son to you, not for this torment, Clara," a furious Mrs. Harrison shouted at Clara. "If you don't want him, divorce him." I slowly opened my eyes, weakly holding my mother's hand. "Not now. Don't divorce. She's treating you like this, and yet you—" My mom looked at me with a somber face, her heart heavy with pain. I couldn't tell my mom the whole truth, so I just held onto her hand tightly. As long as I was alive, I'd hang in there until Clara faked her death, and I got what was rightfully his. Clara, overhearing this, had a strange look on her face. She never imagined I loved her to the point of madness. Even after all the suffering, I refused to divorce her, willing to live like a widower, unable to leave her. Clara felt a rush of emotion, but quickly regained her composure. Her heart belonged to Leo, and she'd soon be leaving with him. When the intruders were driven out, Clara stood over me, looking down with a warning in her voice. "I'll handle the online rumors. This won't happen again. But you were wrong to hurt someone. Leo won't press charges. You know what to do when you face my grandmother, right?" My eyes were calm as I nodded slightly. "I'll apologize to Grandma." Satisfied, Clara walked away. My mom was furious, glaring at me, wanting to say something but holding back, finally letting out a deep sigh. Her son was truly love-struck. "Mom, I don't love Clara anymore," I said weakly, gripping her hand as I shared Clara's plans to fake her illness and remarry. My mom's expression shifted from anger to shock, finally settling on deep sympathy. With things as they were, My mom could only support me in persisting until Clara's staged death. Under pressure from her grandmother, Ms. Sinclair, Clara intervened to change public perception online, erasing posts about me and effortlessly clearing my name. After 2 days of rest, I was summoned back to the Sinclair family's old residence. "I hear you're helping Clara plan a wedding?" Ms. Sinclair sat at the head of the table, her sharp gaze carrying authority. I lowered my eyes and nodded. "Yes." "Ridiculous!" Ms. Sinclair slammed her hand on the chair's back. I shrank back, explaining quietly. "Clara is dying. This is her final wish." Upon hearing this, Ms. Sinclair was stunned, looking at me incredulously. "What did you say?" I produced the critical condition notice and diagnosis. "I just want Clara to pass without regrets." Ms. Sinclair's expression froze. She valued equal matches and disdained someone of Leo's lowly origins. There was no way she'd let him become part of the Sinclairs. Yet now, she hesitated. "Grandma, please let Clara have her way." Ms. Sinclair said nothing, waving me off. Back in my and Clara's room, just after lying down, the door was kicked open by an irate Clara. "Mark, I can't believe I trusted you. You got the shares and now you're playing games?" She grabbed my wrist, pulling me off the bed. I fell to the ground, unprepared. "Where's Leo? Why'd you let Grandma take him?" Clara's eyes were wild, her fury like a fire. "I don't know. Clara, have some sense. Do I have any power to interfere with Grandma's decisions?" Her face was cold, immune to my words. "You have 1 day to return Leo to me, or you'll be planning your mom's funeral." My heart sank as I focused on her, tears filling my eyes. "What have you done to my mom? You can't hurt her." Unmoved, Clara showed me a video on her phone. My mom was dangling precariously from a crane, swinging in the wind. "Let my mom go! I'll help you find Leo!" I cried, crawling before Clara. Her expression wavered briefly, but her voice stayed cold. "Find Leo, and I'll release her." "Please bring her down first. She has heart issues. She can't handle this," I pleaded. "Don't waste time. Find Leo. You have 1 hour," Clara stated coldly, leaving. I struggled to my feet, kneeling outside Ms. Sinclair's room. "Please, Grandma, let them be. It's just a wedding. Done." Quietly. "It won't disgrace the Sinclairs. Grandma, let Clara see Leo." I kept pleading and bowing for 40 straight minutes until Ms. Sinclair finally opened her door. Seeing me, she inhaled deeply, her resolve weakening. "Fine. I'm old. I won't meddle. He's at the Hilltop Estate. Go find him." "Thank you, Grandma, thank you." I expressed my gratitude repeatedly, rising to find Clara. I fell as soon as I started walking. Ignoring the pain, I climbed to my feet, taking only a few steps before tumbling down the stairs. But I gritted my teeth and kept moving. "Clara, Leo's at the Hilltop Estate. Where's my mom?" I found her. "At the harbor," she said, starting the car. I jumped in front of the car, nearly hit by her. She glared at me. "Are you insane?" "Where's my mom?" I demanded, arms wide as I stood defiantly. Clara's eyes flickered with surprise, as if seeing a new side to me. But with Leo on her mind, she couldn't ponder it. "At the harbor." I raced to another car, speeding off ahead of her. When I reached the harbor, I saw my mom still hanging in the air. Tears streamed uncontrollably as I cautiously climbed onto the platform to operate the machinery, gently lowering her to the ground. My mom had suffered a heart attack and fallen into a coma. No matter how much I called out, she didn't respond. "Mom, Wake up! Please don't scare me! Open your eyes! Mom! Mom! Don't leave me! Tears blurred my vision as I rushed her to the hospital. The doctor said it was too late. I leaned against the wall outside the ER, grabbing my collar. I opened my mouth to cry, but found I couldn't. My heart was completely shattered. I realized then that when you're in the deepest pain, you can't even cry. I had my mom's body put in cold storage temporarily and dragged my soulless self back to the villa. Clara had already found Leo and begun secretly planning their fake death scheme. Ms. Sinclair had kidnapped Leo, so they couldn't delay. She wanted to take Leo and escape far away. When she saw me, both she and Leo were startled. "Broad daylight, why are you acting like a ghost?" Leo complained. I acted like I couldn't hear, walking mechanically up the stairs. Passing Clara, I paused, glanced at her, and a hint of hatred spread across my eyes. "Clara, do people turn into ghosts when they die?" I suddenly asked. She froze, looking at me confused. Seeing my lost and pained expression, she thought I couldn't let her go, and tried to comfort me. "When people die, it's like turning off a light. Try not to dwell on it." So that's how it is. I continued walking, but Clara felt uneasy. "Mark, don't do anything rash because of me. Live well." I forced a wry smile. Do something rash for her? She was overthinking. Clara and Leo's wedding was planned. During this time, Clara constantly pretended to be gravely ill, even coughing up blood now and then. Ms. Sinclair was desperate, constantly seeking specialists. The wedding took place. The officiant brought the bride and groom up, read the vows, exchanged rings, and completed the ceremony. I stood quietly in the corner, as if everything was unrelated to me. I was just waiting for the moment Clara died. As soon as the two left the venue, Clara suddenly collapsed, blood pouring from her mouth and nose, and was rushed to the hospital. "Mark, I'm so sorry I left you widowed so young. If there's a next life, don't marry me again." Before being wheeled into the ER, Clara looked steadily at me. "Please live well. I've left a trust fund for you. If you want to have a child through a surrogate one day, you can use my egg, so you'll have a part of me with you. Once I'm gone, Leo will leave too, so don't make things hard for him." Her words were sincere, tears dripping down as if she truly regretted dying. Leo clung to her hand, sobbing uncontrollably. Before she was even in the ER, he fainted. "Go in peace. I'll live on." I avoided her extended hand and spoke coolly. Clara's heart sank sharply. She looked at me uneasily, wanting to say something, but she was already being wheeled inside. 2 hours later, attempts to resuscitate her failed. Clara was dead. Ms. Sinclair was so overwhelmed she fainted. The Sinclair family rushed her to another ER. Only I stood quietly by, and once they left, I turned to the office to issue a death certificate. I cremated Clara's body and handled the paperwork to settle her estate swiftly. I signed the inheritance agreements with the lawyer and took everything owed to me. After Ms. Sinclair had her stroke, I handled the funeral arrangements. The funeral was massive. Nearly everyone knew she had died, and mourners packed the Sinclair estate. Midway through the ceremony, I quietly slipped out. I went back to my room, changed into the suit the Vance family had sent earlier, and holding a bouquet of bright red flowers, walked out of the Sinclair estate. My actions caused a stir. Clara hadn't even been buried, and he's already in a hurry to play the groom. Some called me shameless. Others said I was insane from shock. No matter how loud or harsh the comments, I never looked back. As I got into the wedding car, I spoke softly. "Clara, Your part is finished. From now on, we have no ties. What you owe me has been repaid." Meanwhile, Clara changed clothes and met up with Leo. Hand in hand, they left the hospital. Following their plan, they got on a private plane, with their first stop being Northern Europe. "Leo, we're finally free. They say couples who see the northern lights stay together forever." He leaned against Clara's chest, a smile he couldn't hide on his face. Clara hesitated for a moment. This didn't seem as joyous as she'd imagined. Her eyebrows furrowed slightly, and my calm face flashed in her mind. When I saw her die, I didn't seem sad at all. Me, who clearly loved her dearly. Her frown deepened. Was I just pretending to be calm because I was worried about her, planning to end it all after? "Clara, what are you thinking?" Leo asked, puzzled by her silence. She snapped out of it. "Oh, nothing. Just a bit tired." "Well, as long as you're okay. You promised me Michelin-starred food after we land. You can't get out of it," he playfully coaxed her. Clara nodded, but her thoughts drifted back to me again. Whenever she said she was tired, I would gently massage her temples. I'd make her a cup of herbal tea, too. My gaze was always gentle, always considerate, never demanding. Clara frowned slightly. She was acting weird today, constantly comparing me to Leo. There was no real comparison. She'd always loved Leo. She forced herself to stop thinking about me. She should be happy. When the plane landed, I was out of her mind. She took Leo to a Michelin restaurant. They lugged their bags to the swankiest hotel suite. As soon as they were inside, Leo was all over her, wrapping his arms around her waist, kissing her. He seductively unbuttoned her blouse. Clara's eyes darkened. They fell onto the bed together. They stayed in the hotel for 3 full days. "Clara, will you marry me?" Leo asked with hopeful eyes after one of their sessions. Her heart skipped a beat, and she felt an odd resistance, saying instinctively, "This is nice. Marriage is such a hassle." "But don't you want to have kids with me?" Leo frowned. "Let's talk about it later," she replied, sounding annoyed. Leo looked discontent, flipping over to get on top of her again. "If you don't want to get married, we won't. I'm willing to be with you without a title forever." He kissed her again, pulling her back. Clara and Leo spent a week in Northern Europe, cutting off all ties. They had no clue that the Sinclairs were going through major turmoil. Ms. Sinclair had a stroke, and things were chaotic. At the funeral, the family became a citywide joke. Clara's mom fainted from anger, and her dad had to pull through alone. The Sinclair stock plummeted. Her father was frantic. At the same time, I wept bitterly at my mom's memorial. "Mom, I won't let you die in vain. I'll make Clara pay for what she did," I vowed. After leaving the Sinclairs, I was driven to Sophie's villa. She arranged for me to stay at the Vance family's place and helped me with my mom's funeral. I didn't stay down for long. I returned to MS Group, determined to take control and make Clara pay. Half a month flew by. Clara and Leo were done with Northern Europe and were prepping for a flight to Australia. Before boarding, the crew stopped them. "Sorry, the plane's ownership has changed. Without the owner's consent, you can't board." "What are you talking about?" Clara's brows furrowed. "How is it I've never heard my plane was someone else's?" "Seriously," Leo, full of arrogance, tried to intimidate the captain. "Get out of the way." The captain maintained a polite smile. Clara's frown deepened. Leo's attitude irked her. He used to be so cautious, making her want to protect him. Yet lately, he had this audacity, demanding things and spending, money like water. Compared to him, she thought my quiet, selfless nature was better. "Enough!" Clara pushed Leo away. What do you think you look like, making this scene? Leo stumbled back, eyes welling up. Clara went up to the captain. What's going on? The captain handed her a copy of an inheritance agreement. It clearly stated this plane had been inherited by me, and all her other assets were distributed. Clara snatched the agreement, her face changing in disbelief. Not only was the jet no longer hers, but all her bank accounts had been deactivated. Don't you watch the news? You're broke, the captain smirked and walked off. Leo, already dejected, broke down. Clara, what does this mean? Tell me you're not penniless. Clara shook him off impatiently, watching him fall. When will you be dignified like Mark? You panic at every little thing. It's embarrassing. You're comparing me to that jerk Mark? How is he better than me? Clara, who do you think you are to yell at me? Leo shouted. I followed you, gave up everything. And this is how you treat me? Clara's patience wore thin. Aside from what he could do in bed, he was nothing compared to me. She regretted everything. She turned and walked away. Clara, wait up, Leo shouted, chasing after her. Clara tried every card she had, but none worked. Without ID, she couldn't buy a plane ticket or get into hotels. She called a friend, Coco, to borrow money. Hey, Coco, can you send me $5 million? The most I can give you is 10,000, Coco said quietly. What do you mean? I used to give you projects worth more than that. Things have changed. Not even the Sinclairs can pay back $5 million now. Consider this 10 grand the end of our relationship. Don't contact me again. Coco hung up and sent the money. Clara was furious. She reached out to 5 or 6 other friends. All refused. Clara, what happened? Are you really broke? I'm starving. Let's get something to eat. Leo's face was pale. Clara didn't respond. She instinctively led him into a posh restaurant, where they quickly spent the borrowed money on one meal. They ended up in a cramped, windowless motel. Clara, you gotta think of something. We'll starve, Leo lamented. Maybe we should go back home. Say you faked your death, I'll still be with you. Clara was lost in thought. How could the Sinclairs not pay back a measly $5 million? Did something happen to them? Leo, seeing she was ignoring him, shook her arm. Are you even listening to me? Clara wrenched free. Shut up. If it wasn't for you convincing me to fake my death, we wouldn't be in this mess, she snapped. You're blaming me? Leo was in disbelief, tears welling up. In the past, such a look would have softened her. Today, she felt only regret. Sell your luxury stuff, and then let's head back home, she said, uninterested in fighting. She got up to pack his designer goods. Leo jumped up, blocking her path. Clara's eyes darkened. She slapped him hard. Yours? Which of these did you not get with my money? Ignoring his protests, she grabbed the items. Richard, in a fit of rage, hurled an ashtray at her, knocking her down. Blood trailed down from the back of her head, disbelief filling her eyes. You made me do this! You left me no choice! Leo screamed, dropping the ashtray as he ran off with his luggage. Don't leave me! Take me to a hospital! Leo! Clara reached out. I don't want to die. Her hand fell slowly, overwhelmed by regret. Back home, I inherited shares from my mother and took back the MS Group shares from Clara, becoming the largest shareholder. At the board meeting, I sat in the chairman's seat, surrounded by hostile stakeholders. Mark, why disrupt your comfortable life for the company? They sneered. Clara's barely cold, and you're with the Vances already? Aren't Sophie's charms better than corporate headaches? They mocked my reputation. Even your mom never meddled. Why bother? Take your dividends and just leave. Since my father passed, my mother had neglected the company, and the board members felt entitled. No way. As the largest shareholder, I have a say in being chairman." "Oh, please," Lewis waved dismissively. He signaled, and security men walked in. "Escort him out. Take some nice photos. If he doesn't play nice, give him a happy pill." Lewis glared maliciously. "Let me go! You can't do this!" "You think you can overthrow us, kid?" Lewis sneered. But just then, Sophie Vance elegantly walked in, standing firmly by my side. "Who said Mark can't handle things?" Her icy stare shot through Lewis. "You refuse. You deal with me." Seeing her authority, Lewis felt a chill. "Sophie, why stand up for this trash against us?" Sophie merely smirked. "Decide. Take on the Vances together, or one by one?" "I'm waiting." She ensured I was unhurt. "From now on, Mark is MS Group's chairman. Mess with him, you mess with me," Sophie declared, presenting a file. She watched each shareholder sign it, sealing my position. I looked at the woman in front of me, feeling something I couldn't quite put into words. Sophie grabbed my hand, and we got into the car. I looked at her several times, wanting to say something, but held back. "Got something on your mind?" she asked with a smile. I nodded, my eyes serious. "Do you really want to marry me?" "For sure. The day you wear a suit and stand before me, you're my husband. When you've got time, let's get the license and have a wedding," Sophie joked, half serious. "Okay." I wanted to ask why, but decided to swallow the question. Marriage was my father's last wish, and also my best option right now. As I was lost in thought, Sophie leaned in and whispered, "From now on, I'll be your support. Everything from the Vances is at your disposal. Do whatever you want." A shiver ran up my spine. Just then, the car screeched to a stop. Someone was blocking our way. I gasped, losing my balance and falling towards Sophie. My face turned red. In my confusion, someone outside started banging on the window. I quickly sat back, rolled down the window, and looked out. There was a woman in ragged clothes, dirty and sunburnt beyond recognition. "It's Clara, your wife," she said, her voice hoarse and desperate. "I'm not dead. I'm still alive." My face remained blank as I studied her closely. "Mark, I've missed you. Please get out and take me home," Clara pleaded, her hands pressed against the glass. After a long silence, I spoke slowly, my voice distant. "Sorry. I don't know you. My ex-wife is dead." "Mark, how can you not recognize me? You loved me so much, you even made friends with your rival for my sake." Clara met my increasingly cold gaze, her words catching in her throat. I averted my eyes and directed the driver to roll up the window and drive on. Clara clung to the glass until her fingers were caught. She winced in pain, pleading, "Mark, it hurts. Won't you look at me?" I remained indifferent. Burdened by the pain, Clara finally let go, watching the car drive away. She chased after it, shouting my name. "Mark, I barely survived to come back. You can't ignore me like this." It turned out that after Leo injured her, a hotel cleaner had saved her. She pawned her jewelry and bags to cover her medical bills and used the rest to sneak back into the country. The moment she returned, she sought me out, imagining me mourning her. She planned to apologize genuinely, hoping for my forgiveness. But as soon as she returned, she heard about me and Sophie. She refused to believe it. "Mark, you can't do this to me. I'm the love of your life." Clara was unwilling to give up and chased my car all the way to the Vance villa. Ignoring the guards, she pushed forward, only to be repeatedly thrown to the ground. "Let me in! I need to find my husband. Sophie, who do you think you are to marry my husband? Mark! Honey, come out! Thrown out again, the gate finally opened as I stepped out. I stood 2 meters away, looking at her coldly. You finally came out to see me, Mark? Come home with me, please. Clara, dirty and bloodied, lay on the ground. Looking down at her, I smirked slightly. Home? You have no home. What do you mean? Clara's heart skipped a beat. I sold the villa. As for the Sinclair family home, the bank will soon take it. Playing dead wasn't enough. Now you're back from the dead? Did you really think everyone is a fool, Clara? She shook her head. Mark, you know everything. I was wrong, I admit it. After leaving with Leo, I realized I loved you. Only you. I lost my mind. I did something so stupid, but I'm back now, ready to settle down with you. Her voice grew frantic, causing her to cough up blood. I stepped back 2 steps, a hint of disgust crossing my eyes. Seeing my gaze, Clara felt her heart ache painfully. I had changed. I didn't love her anymore. Mark, please don't do this to me. I truly know I was wrong. I maintained my cold demeanor. I don't know you. Stop bothering me. My fiancé wouldn't like it. At least, give me back my property. She struggled to stand. I stepped back inside the door. Those were left to me by my ex-wife as inheritance. Nothing to do with you. Seeing her face change, she stepped forward, grasping the gate bars. A sudden rush of anger caused her vision to blur before she fainted. As heavy rain fell, each cold drop hit her body, slowly bringing her back to consciousness. She was still lying outside the Vance gate, completely ignored. She picked herself up, dragging her beaten body back to the Sinclairs. She thought once she reclaimed her identity, I would come around. She practically crawled to the Sinclair home and fainted before she could knock. When she woke up, she saw her father, tears streaming down his face. Nearby stood her mother, visibly thinner. You fool! Pretending to be dead over a man! Look at what you've done to the Sinclairs! Her father yelled, slapping her hard. Why didn't you just die out there? You come back to what? The Sinclairs are gone. Everything's gone, her father sobbed. Clara found out that after she left, her grandmother's health worsened, and she passed away. The Sinclair stock had plummeted, and partners ended their deals, causing massive fines. The Vances were the ones pulling the strings. The man you look down on, the Vances treasure him. This was all aimed at us. You're such a fool. Clara was shocked. She couldn't believe I would do such a thing. Don't worry. Mark's just angry with me. Once I make him happy again, everything will be back to normal, Clara said confidently. Clara focused on healing and taking back control of the Sinclair business. She went after me every day. She sent me a bouquet of roses. She even hired people to play a video of her confessing her love outside my villa. In the videos, Clara was all dolled up. Mark, I didn't see my own heart clearly before. It's always been you I love. Give me another chance. I, fed up, had my security team chase them away. When the guards were kicking them out again, Clara herself showed up in the Sinclair's last Rolls-Royce, holding a big bouquet of roses. Mark, I'm here to take you home. Tonight, let's go stargazing. Tomorrow, we'll cruise on the ocean. Everything I couldn't do with you before, I'll make it up to you. I've already applied to get my identity back. Once my death certificate is voided, our marriage will still stand. You'll be my husband forever, Clara said gently, her words laced with a threat. I frowned. Sophie, who had walked up without any of them noticing, slipped her arm around me, leading me away. That's if you can get your identity restored, she scoffed. You think the Sinclairs can rise again? Sophie, this is between me and my husband. Stay out of it, Clara snapped. You're just a lowlife who took down the Sinclairs while I was gone. Now I'm back, I'll take back the company and Mark. I chuckled, patting Sophie reassuringly before walking up to Clara. I took the flowers from her hands. Clara's eyes shone with delight. She just knew I still loved her. I tossed the flowers back in her face. The thorns scraped her cheek, leaving her stunned. "Stopped loving you a long time ago," I said coldly. "Every time you hurt me for Leo, my boyhood affection for you drained away. Being with Sophie was my choice, the best one I ever made. You caused my mother's death. You should pay for that. As for our so-called marriage, let's see you try to get your identity back." My eyes were cold and full of hatred. My words pierced her heart. Clara had never seen me so fierce. She instinctively stepped back. "No, I didn't kill her. I was just scaring you," she insisted. I slapped her hard. "Don't trouble me again. There's only hatred left between us. We're enemies for life." Clara looked at me in disbelief. "No, you still love me. You're just mad at me, right? Tell me how to earn your forgiveness." "Even if you died, I wouldn't forgive you," I said, pulling Sophie with me as I left. Clara stood frozen, whispering, "I don't believe it. You're lying." "Are you okay?" Sophie was standing behind me, full of concern. My mother's death was a wound in my heart. I forced a smile, turning to her. "I'm fine." Then a cold glint appeared in my eyes. "Will you help me? I want the Sinclairs to collapse." "Of course. Whatever you decide to do, I'm with you. Go all out. If it gets tough, I'll step in." Sophie lovingly brushed the top of my head and wiped my tears. I nodded, pulling her into a hug. Spending time together had awakened new, complex feelings in me about Sophie. With her, I was at ease, able to be my true self. With her help, I secured my position as president of MS Group and led the company to strategically acquire the Sinclair projects at a bargain. I even actively suppressed their progress by dumping the inherited shares I had, causing the Sinclair stock to fluctuate. Clara was worn out. Every attempt to meet me was refused. One day, Clara personally went down to MS Group and waited to see me. I was dressed in a white suit, and there was a mature aura about me she had never seen. Her eyes were full of surprise. "Mark, can we talk?" she asked, losing her usual arrogance. Without a glance at her, I turned her down. "My aim is to ruin you. There's nothing to talk about." "What about Mom's death?" Clara stepped forward to block me. I paused and looked at her. "What did you say?" "The truth about Mom's death is different," Clara said, taking a deep breath. I, half believing, hesitated, and still agreed to go with her. Clara took me to the restaurant I always wanted to visit. During the ride, she kept trying to start a conversation, but I ignored her. "Mark, do you remember when I saved you that time? And when you gave me chocolates and said you liked me? You looked so cute." I acted like I didn't hear, quietly watching the scenery pass by. "Mark, we're here." Clara had booked the whole restaurant, personally brought flowers, poured me wine, and even sang love songs. These were all things I had wished for and mentioned to her before. "Clara, just say it. Stop wasting time. I won't be with you, and I won't stop going after you." I felt bored and tossed the flowers aside. Clara's expression changed. "Mark, I really fell in love with you. I don't love you." My harsh words stopped her cold. After a long pause, she spoke again. "It was Leo who had someone give Mom a muscle relaxant, causing her heart attack, not because she was scared into it." I stood frozen. "What did you say?" "Richard killed my mom." "Yes, and here's the proof." Clara handed me the results of her investigation. "You misunderstood. Mom didn't die because of me." I read it word for word, my fingers tightening, My face darkened. I didn't misunderstand. If you hadn't kidnapped my mom, how would he have had a chance? Clara, you're just as despicable as he is. I crumpled the paperwork into a ball and threw it in her face. I won't forgive you guys. Without another word, I stormed out. Clara hurried to catch up and grabbed my arm, only to be slapped hard. Get lost! Mark, I'll help you get revenge. You forgive me, and we can be together. You want the Sinclair group? I can give it to you, anything you want. Clara madly tried to hold on. I kicked her hard, making her clutch her belly in pain. If I want the Sinclair group, I'll take it myself. Seeing you makes me sick. I walked away without looking back. I ran to my mother's grave and cried for a long time, until Sophie came to take me away. Meanwhile, Leo returned to the country. Hearing that Clara was back with the Sinclairs, he rushed over to find her, playing the victim. He crouched outside the Sinclair gate. Clara, I'm here to apologize. I was wrong. I didn't mean to hurt you. Leo kneeled, crying desperately. I came back to find you, but you were gone. Can you forgive me? Clara's face darkened, a cold smile on her lips. She reached out to pull him up. Leo, you're quite the pretender. Almost fooled me again. From start to finish, you only loved my money, right? When I had none, you ran. Seeing I have money again, you're back? Clara dramatically tightened her grip around his neck. His body trembled, and he struggled, a strong feeling of suffocation leaving him speechless. Weren't you afraid when you hurt me? Or when you caused my mom's death? Or when you used me to satisfy your own greed? Clara poured all her rage onto him. It's all you! You turned Mark and me into this! She blamed Leo for everything. Just when he seemed about to suffocate, Clara suddenly let go. He fell, gasping violently. Have you gone mad? Were you going to kill me? You deserve it, but you can't die too easily, Leo. Time for you to bring Mark back to me. Clara commanded Leo to coax me back, or she'd make him live miserably. Leo kneeled outside my home with sticks tied to his back, the thorns piercing his skin, staining his shirt red. His cheeks were swollen, eyes bruised, hands raised high, knocking repeatedly on the ground, shivering. Mark, forgive me! I'm a wretch! I shouldn't have seduced a married woman! More and more people gathered. Someone started live streaming. Clara got out of the car, walked over, and kicked him. Is this it? Show some sincerity. Leo shrank back, nodding faster, cursing himself harder. Mark, please forgive Clara. It wasn't her fault. I'm just that low. Everything's my fault. I deserve to die. By the end, Leo's throat was hoarse, but there was no reaction from inside the house. I just had the bodyguards get them out, and if they couldn't, I'd call the cops. Before the police arrived, Clara took Leo away. She thought the punishment wasn't enough. Clara, I've done as you asked. Can you please let me go? Leo pleaded. I told you, you have to make Mark forgive me. It must be that your sincerity isn't enough. Think of more ways to punish yourself, Clara said, a twisted light in her eyes. Leo was startled. You're crazy, Clara. You're a mad woman. Let me go. Shut up! Clara slapped him hard, his lips instantly bleeding. Clara, you'll meet a bad end. Mark won't forgive you. He hates you, Leo screamed. A woman like you doesn't deserve love. It's right for Mark to marry someone else. I said shut up. Clara grabbed him by the neck violently. Don't speak. Mark won't marry someone else. Leo struggled to breathe, but he couldn't get away. His breath faded, and eventually he went limp. Clara didn't let go. Shut up. Just shut up. It's all your fault, you wretch, for splitting me and Mark. It was a while before she released him. Leo's body slumped lifelessly to the ground. She was momentarily stunned, then checked on him. Seeing he was dead, she surprisingly didn't panic. She put his body in the trunk and took it to the Sinclair basement. Over the next few days, she acted like nothing happened, sending gifts to me and handling company affairs. More partners wanted to cancel their contracts, so Clara had to negotiate herself, even giving away half the profits. Meanwhile, I had had enough. I released evidence of the Sinclair Group's past illicit profits and the infidelity of Clara's parents. I also exposed Clara's fake death to live freely with Leo and her sneaking back into the country. These bombshells caused the stock to plummet. I took the chance to buy stocks, quickly getting more shares than Clara. When I went to the Sinclair Group, Clara was a wreck in her office. "Why? Why do you have to destroy me utterly?" she accused me fiercely. I watched her meltdown with a faint smile. "I said you'd pay for your actions." "Mark, I've admitted my mistakes. How could you not forgive me? Wouldn't it be nice if we went back to the way things were? Or is it that you love the rich Sophie now?" Clara insinuated. I just smiled without a word. To me, she wasn't even worth talking to anymore. "Clean up the office. Throw out the trash," I ordered coldly, seeing her as nothing but garbage. Clara struggled to reach me, but before she could touch me, the bodyguards pinned her to the ground. "Mark, I really love you. I don't want anything, just to be by your side, okay? Just to see you." With a wave of my hand, the bodyguards dragged her away, bringing peace to my ears. I didn't actually want the Sinclair Group. I organized the shares and company matters and gave them to Sophie. "I just want MS Group. All this is yours." Sophie reached out to me, and naturally, I took her hand, pulling her close. "Mark, you know, your confident and bright demeanor is just like when I first met you as a child." "I don't remember meeting you," I frowned. Sophie smiled. "We met a few times. I wasn't impressive enough to catch your eye back then." I felt a pang in my heart. In my youth, all I saw was Clara, who had saved me, ignoring all the beautiful scenery. "I'm sorry," I admitted, feeling guilty. Sophie lifted my chin and gently kissed me. "You don't need to apologize. I'll just wait for you to willingly love me." I blushed, returning her kiss. "Anytime. Can't wait." Sophie held my head, deepening the kiss until my face was red, nearly breathless, before releasing me. Our wedding was planned for a week later. On our wedding day, Sophie solemnly knelt before my parents' memorials and brought out a prenuptial agreement, giving all her assets to me. "Honey, from now on, if I ever have a flicker of doubt, just kick me out, empty-handed." I held her tightly. This, I thought, must be what true love feels like. Post-marriage, I was still very happy and grateful to have found Sophie. As for Clara, word had it that before the police could catch her, she stole the Sinclairs' last bit of money, hopped on a ship to Southeast Asia, and perished in a storm. Good riddance. May we never meet again in any lifetime.